Hey guys, welcome back to the Art Corner. Did you guys miss me over Christmas? I know you did. I had some of you at church come up and say, when are you going to do a show? Christmas would have been fun, but we're still in winter mode. So today I want to do kind of an impressionistic snow scene. And this one's pretty. Brandon and I were talking about how pretty the sky is sometimes in the winter. And this one's quick and easy. And the canvas size is real popular. This can go a lot of places in your home. I recommend this. I think it is an 18 by, it might be 12 by 18, something like that. But it's a really good size to go a lot of places. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. First thing we want to do is find our horizon. And this particular art reference, the horizon's not in the middle because you want to see a lot of the landscape, the snow. It's kind of up a little higher. Starting right from the beginning with you all today. It's right here. Doesn't necessarily have to be even because it's landscape, but I think we've got this right. All right, just very lightly get that on there. Got my trusty kneaded eraser, which is your best friend. Let's get rid of a little bit of this. And the cool thing about these erasers is you can knead them like this and it cleans them up. All right, there we go. Now, I would do white all over on this canvas, but the thing about oil, if you do a base coat and you start adding color on top, it tends to overblend. And sometimes it doesn't get as dark and rich as you need, so you have to wait a day or two and let it settle and then go back on top. We are using oil, so I'm going to do just a section at a time. The main section that I want to do first is the white, because once you start adding in orange and red, it takes over your palette, your paintbrushes, and your Turpenoid. So I'm going to start with white. And this snow is kind of cool. It's not your typical white. It's got some crud to it. It's got a little purple, a little gray, and it looks very realistic if I can get it right. I'm going to add a little bit of Vallejo blue, I think is how you pronounce that. I'm going to get some black out. And remember, if you are going to attempt, to paint, always get a big white and a big black. You'll use them more than any color at all. All right, getting my black out. A lot of black in this scene. So let's start with the background. This will be kind of quick and easy, I hope. Background brushes should be pretty good size. So we're going to start with this one. Not quite this one, but we may go to this. We'll see. Actually, let's start with that. I'm also going to put a little bit of linseed oil out here on my palette. And I've got my Turpenoid low odor right here where I can get to it. All right, here's my palette, just these three colors and a little linseed oil. Now let me start mixing. White, blue, and black. And you can thin it out with your Turpenoid because you're going to need this kind of thin. All right, let's get started right down here. This is a fun painting. I've done it before. I've got it hanging in my bathroom in my house. And I've enjoyed it. I really have. And since I've done it before, hopefully I'll do it right. Down here is more of a solid white. You don't want this to be even anywhere. Now these longer canvases do have a bar behind them right here, so make sure that you realize that and kind of avoid it pressing in or making a color or a line going this way. Just keep in mind that bar's there and it might alter it just a little bit. All right, here we go, a little darker up in here around the horizon. Let's lay some white to it right down here. I will tell you this too, it's good to get fresh Turpenoid and linseed because sometimes it gets kind of gummy down here, but you can use the top of that linseed all the time. But just keep an eye on the bottom, it'll kind of gum up like glue. All right, I want to cover my canvas real well. I'm going to have to add some more white. I want it thick and gallery looking, thick and rich. All right. Got some black on the end of that thing. It's driving me crazy. Here we go. You know, the thing about oil paint too, it almost looks like it has glitter on it with the light shining on it. I don't know if you can see that or not, but when it's wet, it looks a little glittery. It's kind of pretty. When it dries, it'll tone down some. And if you still want it to glitter, all you have to do is add an oil-based varnish after about 3 weeks. It'll be dry enough and you can add an oil-based varnish and it'll bring that glitter back or that shine back. Oil is my favorite medium. It's a little harder than acrylic. You have to kind of get used to it. But once you do, you usually don't go back. It's really, really fun. Easy to paint with. Real pretty professional finish usually. I like how it smells too. I'm kind of weird. All right. Get all this covered. One way you can make sure that bottom's covered is lean it up on this easel like this and just tap this right here. Put it back down. I like to leave my edges kind of open and clean so that you can carry it out. Otherwise, look, it's going to get all over you. Some customers or people like to have that painted. I would do that after they take it home or something. Black, blue, white. Now this is where we're going to get a little variance right up in here. I'm going to add too a little bit of red. You have to be careful with this, but I'm going to add just a touch of red, and that is going to reflect this sunrise or sunset. I'll be honest, I'm not sure which it is. It might be a sunset, but I'm not for sure. Here we go. This is kind of the color you want, and with that blue on there, it turns a little purpley. I'm going to try to make this real rich and not too faded, so you do have to add quite a bit of paint. A little more red. These little kits are great to get too. If you're just trying to decide if you want to do oil, you're not investing in a lot of paint. I think this one is about $5.99, and it is a good way to experiment with it without, you know, it being costly to you. But they have really good colors, your basics, and some of your mixes as well. And it's a wonderful little thing to go, you know, anywhere and pick them up. They sell them all over. Anywhere they sell art supplies, they sell these little kits. Okay. See that line right there? See that bar? I can see it when I'm getting it on here. All right. Bring this up some more. Let me add some more black. You know, just painting, it's hard to concentrate and talk at the same time. I can't imagine exercising on a video and talking at the same time. I just could not do that. I don't know how those people do that. I really don't. Okay, here's some more white. I want it kind of solid down here. Just really pure white. So I'm gonna squirt some more out. I will say this. Oil is more expensive than acrylic. It lasts longer though, and your paintings have a little more high quality to them. Yeah, I'm spending some money right here just getting this thick paint on here, but I promise you it's worth it. You don't have to glass front and oil, so you're saving a little money there. All right, here we go. All right, now I'm gonna leave that and let that settle just a little bit, and we'll add some more in a minute. Now, let's start with the sunset. And I might be sorry that I'm starting so soon, but I wanna go ahead and get that background in. So I am gonna stick with this brush. I'm gonna do yellow ochre, got another plate. Let's try that so that I don't have to keep on the same one. These little foam plates are wonderful to use for your palette. What you can do if you want to keep it dry, wet for the next day, is just cover it like that. And that keeps this wet for several days. All right, I'm starting a new palette because red is very hateful and it takes over. So I've got yellow ochre. This is called Scarlet. And I did cheat and bring some orange. You know, after you get better at painting, you should be able to mix your own colors. They sell them now just already mixed for you. And they make life a whole lot easier for most people. But the more you paint, the better you should be at looking at something and tell what colors go in it. Okay, here's a bright yellow. All right. I'm going to start with this brush and change in a minute. Okay, yellow and orange and some scarlet and some ochre. I'm just going to kind of mix it all together. And I'm going to do a touch of black too. Mars is my favorite. Ivory's my favorite. This is Mars. Ivory black is really good. It's a great rich, but this Mars will do just fine. Okay. And orange doesn't go in a lot of people's homes, so I want to go kind of subtle with it. Yeah, if you have a piece of artwork, it's hard to find a place for orange a lot of times. But here we go. Let's get some turpenoid so it'll thin down a little bit. Here we go. And really and truly, one of the reasons I picked this painting is the colors in it. And it's not a usual snow scene. You know, usually they look kind of like a Hallmark card. They have it a cardinal and a bird feeder, and this one isn't going to be like that. Okay, here's a soft background. I swear that white gets eaten up really quick. Squirt a big one out. I'm making a mess on this table. I have to wipe it off. All right, that's a good basic, I don't know, let me take it all the way across. Hang on. All the way over here. But you see how smooth? You don't have to wait on it to dry. It won't. But sometimes with acrylic, you have to wait on it to dry in order to layer it really good. This you do not. All right, I'm going to get into the orange, the ochre, and the red, and a tad bit of black just to rich it up. And we're going to go around the edge here. I'm going to put a little bit of that scarlet on this too. Uh-oh, I shouldn't have done that. Look here how the red just absolutely takes over. I think we can work with it though. I want this to blend together. You don't want to see any start stops in your sky. It should gradate up and blend together. Now my snow down here is white, so let's keep this off of the snow or you're going to be in trouble. Blend that up, blend that up. Most of this is going to be black in this area, so I'm not going to get real close. I don't want to mix them together, but this sharp brush helps keep that line straight like this. There we go. All right. Now, here we go. I'm going to try this side too. Yeah, I do like that red in there. It's pretty. Let's get some more. All around the edges here. You got to kind of have a steady hand to get that line straight. Now I'm going to get a little bolder with my color. Once I kind of see where it goes. Let's go just a little crazy. Not too much, but. All right, be careful with your red, but that kind of makes this. Grade 8 on up. Isn't this pretty? I don't know how many of you all have ever seen like a sunset like this with the snow, but it is just beautiful. Here we go. And I like the snow. I know that's not popular. I love it. I have a banner in my dining room that says, "Pray for snow." I love it. I just think it is so calming. I think it's a time that trees and everything rest, and you don't feel guilty about not doing yard work outside. It's a good time to rest. The trees, the grass. The only people that really work hard are the birds, and they work so hard, you know, to dig something up out of the ground to eat. But it's just a wonderful time for nature to be quiet and rest. And that's kind of what we want to portray in this scene. Just a restful, a restful, peaceful snow scene here. Okay, I'm gonna bring this up just a tad. Once again, I keep going down to this line. I don't want to have any canvas showing. There we go. I'm going to go just a little bolder on my left side, and then we'll start messing with the snow again. Right over here, I think, is probably where that sun is setting. So it's going to be a little bolder on that left side. Right here. Okay, let's get up here just a tad with some drama. Over here with some drama. And what I mean by drama is maybe some unexpected colors. Just so it's not so predictable looking. There we go. Okay, I think that's bold enough. All right, now I am going to work on the snow a little bit. I'm going to change brushes because we were dealing with red. Go back to this palette where our snow is, squirt out some more white. This is why you can't get a manicure, right here. All right. Here is your white. Let's get that real bright right in here. That means just a real big glob of some white. And you know what? I don't want it smooth necessarily. Let's see some brush strokes right in there so it looks like a, you know, an oil painting. Here we go. There we go. Down here too. And you could even palette knife some of this snow on, but this really doesn't call for a palette knife, but it would thicken it up. You could just ice it like a cake. All right, now let's I'll tell you something else we're learning in art class is the cruddy brush technique. This is what I would call a cruddy brush. It's a sable hair. It's been sitting around in my studio and I haven't cleaned it well. So it ends up looking cruddy like this. And don't throw them away because they're great for shrubbery, for tree limbs. We're going to use this some. I'm not even sure if I cleaned it off well enough to use here, but we're going to try. This cruddy brush just scrubs the paint on, basically. Let me show you. There's one little area here. And see, it just sort of scrubs on what looks like might be some leftover branches and stuff from spring. We're going to cruddy brush some of this over here. I want to get some color and do a little cruddy brushing over here. They're wonderful with oil. All right, now there is a little area that comes down. It goes like this, and it kind of comes that way. So we are going to scrub up a little cruddy brushness right in here. And these are just, I don't know what they are. It looks like leftover something that was pretty in the summertime. But most of everything kind of looks like this right now. Just going to kind of cruddy this on here, get it started. Then it starts getting some formation down in here, but I'm not going to worry about that right now. Let's just place this. There's your little shrubby right there. Now let me switch just a minute and get some more blue and purple and black down in here on your snow. A lot of blue in snow, a lot of purple in snow. Right down here. And I really think this is probably a reflection of this. Or that's what, you know, the artist had in mind. Right down here. And if you'll notice, I'm just being as loose as I can. Loose technique is hard for me. I'm more of a realist. I love the way it looks, but it is hard for me. I'm trying to learn it a little more because it's a popular art form. It really is, this loose kind of impressionistic style. Diddle squat. I got too much black there. Hang on. There we go. I'm going to kind of crud that back into my shrub up here just a little bit. No definite detail, just some scrubbing. All right, now I do want to get a smaller brush, and I want to place those fence posts. So I'm going to get something with a little more definition to it, and I like nylon for your definition. Here's a fence post. Here's one. And the closer that you get this way, you should see more detail. Then it goes back further, everything's smaller. Here's your fence. And this fence has got leftover something growing on it, which is pretty cool. It's got a little snow here and there. We'll get to that. Then it kind of turns up this way. I'm starting to talk like all those people on TV. They all talk like this, and at the end of everything they say, their voice goes up. I'm just kind of old, I noticed that. Now look, I'm going to get a little snow on this fence. Okay, now let's ground that so it doesn't look like it's floating with a cruddy brush. Jamming that cruddy brush down here, and I'm going to get some junk right down here below this fence. I want to keep this white, as white as I can. So let's smooth that out a little bit. There we go. And I'll smooth that a little more in a minute. And you know what? This is one of those kind of pictures that even if you get hair from your brush on the canvas, it looks good. It doesn't matter. The hair kind of looks good on it. All right, here we go. It starts getting real dark as we get up here, and I think it just wants to get, it's just sort of a silhouette image is what that is. It's lighter down here, and there's even some red. I'm going to add a little bit of red down here. Once again, this is a reflection probably of the sunset. Yeah. That sunset's got an impact on everything. The snow, the fence, everything you see in this has got a little bit of that in it. So I'm holding my brush back like this, and I'm pulling real lightly up through here just to get some of that red involved down here. I'm gonna get a little more black, and I'll fine detail this closer to the end of this little painting. Cruddy brush some black. I'm gonna wear that word out. Right through here. Look, I am making a mess on my hands. That's okay. Clean it off. Yeah, I love how these bristles just make a natural shrub. All right. Now there are a couple little shrubs here and there, like that. There's a few hairs involved off my brush. I don't care, they look good. Then let's kind of make some more, I don't know what that is, up through here. Now, let's get into the horizon area. And this is where it gets a little bit harder. So what I want to do is use my fine brush again, if I can. Let's see if I've got another size over here. This one will probably work. Maybe this one too. All right, now I'm gonna move this a little closer so I can get a little bit finer here. Now my black is what I'm gonna use, this Mars black. I'm gonna squirt a big puddle on my styrofoam plate. And I wanna start with a really definite shrub over here in the corner, right over here. And the key to this is kind of getting your size correct. You gotta have your scale right. But your black horizon is going to go all the way across. I'm just going to do it soft, kind of thick in the middle, and then it softens as it goes up. And I'll use the brush again to get those twig pieces up there. I want this really dark, right here in the middle. All right, it goes. I want to make sure. Let's see. Let's put that one tree right here. Want to get it shaped correct first, and this will kind of give me a starting point with everything else. Now once again, going back to my little cruddy brush. Yeah, there we go. These things will add, they're great for dog hair paintings, you know, fur. They're also good for far away trees. You can still see some branches and some detail that would be real hard to do with a regular brush. It really would. So real dark up through here, super dark, right in here. And that's one disadvantage to oil. You really have to lay it to it or it'll blend. Okay, all the way up. Then it starts going flat over here. Now, this horizon, I'm going to do it with more of a smooth brush. Right here. There we go. Add a little bit of blue to that. All right, I may have gotten that just a tad dark. That's okay. There we go. We'll lighten it up with that white and the blue. There we go. Now let me get a dry brush. It doesn't have anything on it. These are real good for blending. Doesn't have any paint on it, nothing on it. It's just a dry brush, and that helps blend everything I've got on here together. We're getting there. A little more blue or purpley. There we go. That kind of goes all the way down here. Once again, this is a reflection of that sunset on the snow. And I'll trickle back up some of those hedges in a minute. I just want to get this horizon color correct. There we go. Now, there is a little house. Let me get a smaller brush. There is a little house right here next to that tree. So I'm going to get him on there. And one thing you can do is compare. In the picture I'm looking at, the house comes about right here to this bush. And that's one way you can tell if your scale's correct. Compare one thing to the other. This house comes about right here. And it's got kind of a gray roof, so I want to add a little white to it. You want it to be kind of distant. You don't want it to be forefront. It's behind everything, sort of. So I'm adding a little bit of Turpenoid to thin this out. Here we go. There we go. You want it thin. Then it gets a little darker down here. Once again, we don't want this to look like a Hallmark card. Just going to place this. There we go. You can tell it's a house, but there's not a lot of detail. I'm going to get a little darker here. I don't see any windows or doors or anything. Your paper towel is your friend. I use them a lot. Okay, right in there. There is a tiny little chimney right there, just a tiny one. You don't even, you just barely see it. All right. Smooth those out so that it goes away a little more. All right, now there's another house, and I want to place it in the right spot. Compared to where the other things are, it's about right here. It's got a white roof, probably snow laden. And I'm just kind of placing everything, and then I'm going to put all the shrub around it. Here's its lid or its roof right here. And it's a little bigger, maybe, but it's further away. All right, let's see if I've got, I may make that just a little bit bigger. There we go. And the top of that almost comes to the ground. All right. You do see the chimney on this one. So I'm going to get a little teeny weeny microscopic brush. Something else you don't want to pick up from me is you need to take care of your brushes, and I don't like I should. But these little brush kits you can pick up for $5.99, and you can't beat a new brush. So a lot of times I just go buy a new one because it's easier than cleaning them sometimes. Here's the inside of this. Here's the chimney right here. And I love that. It kind of makes this painting. We'll get to that in a minute. Here's the other side of that house. That goes way on down. And you don't even really see the bottom of this because of the shrubbery, etc. Very faint. Some of that horizon gets up on that roof a little bit, so it fades away. I am going to get this outline a little darker. Yeah. And you do see a little teeny door. It's probably a barn, so it's an opening like this on here. All right, now, let's see. And there's one more kind of focal piece, and it is a tree. And it's scraggly and wintry looking, and it's right here, and I hope I get it right. About right here, and it goes. Doesn't have to be perfectly straight because it's old and wintry. Right up through there. It does go to the top because it's kind of closer to us, okay? It's got like one branch, and take some paint off, and it's got, and let me change brushes. I don't want to mess that up. Hang on one second. Most of these kits you buy have got several shapes and sizes in them. They're wonderful, and I like the nylon. All right, this one has got a scraggly, and I'm going to try to hold my arm straight right here. There we go. There's a scraggly little branch. There's a scraggly little branch. Make sure it fades away. There's a scraggly little branch up here, one that goes off this way. And just let it sort of fade away, your branches. But this is another focal point that you want to place so you'll know where, and there's another tree here. Well, let's get the background of it first. All right, Cruddy brush. Let's get back to it. And we're going to do some more hedges and some more silhouette of winter. This is good size. Scruff in this one. See how when you pull up high, all these branches just look really rough. I like that. Here we go. Now. And I've told you all this before, and when you're painting, get up and walk away sometime. At some point, just get up and go out of the room for a little bit, get your mind looking at something else, and then come back in and look at it, and you'll see your mistakes. But it's a really good thing to do when you're doing one painting, like one session, like this show would be. I did that recently. I was doing a couple of dogs in a pool, and I got up and walked away, and wow, I had made a big mistake, and I'd spent so much time on it, but the dogs were not close enough together. And when you're really focusing, you don't see that. You have to get away, to really look at what you're doing. I'm going to add some white and blue. And I did have to sort of alter that to get them correct, but I wouldn't have seen it had I not walked away. All right, the hedges are coming up around this barn, whatever this is, and they're not all the same, so don't make them all like a little fuzzy same. Just scruff up in here, do this with your brush, and just kind of scruff them in like this. Doesn't matter if it gets below, it's okay. Because, it's not going to be perfect. This is all wintry, yucky stuff. The key with that hedge, though, or with this horizon, is to make sure you get it dark enough. This is dark up in here, because it is kind of silhouette-y looking. I'm going to scruff in some more of this. And another thing that'll help you with your painting is get your film developed at least an 8x10 of the picture you're using. I use readers, these great old big chunky readers, and still get my pictures developed up to an 8x10. If you don't, you miss some things. You miss some details. But make sure it's big enough so that you can see the details in what you're painting. Here's some more horizon. And really, an impressionistic painting like this should go fast. Turning my brush sideways so that everything doesn't look the same. Doesn't matter if I have to go back over that tree again. You should always do your background first, but I had to place that. All right. Now I'm going to get some of that paint off, and it's going to go kind of up a little bit higher with the crud. We really don't know what that is, but it's there. Here's some more crud right here. Is that my fingerprint? Might be my fingerprint. But there's a little bit more crud here. And since I've been on that white paint, I'm going to kind of touch this up just a little bit. You don't want that too smooth. This comes on down on the snow, this part. Comes on down with your cruddy brush like this. Don't throw your cruddy brushes away. They're very valuable for scenes like this. Now, I'm gonna get just a little crud on these fence posts, and I'll get my little small brush and add a little detail, but this needs to fit in with the picture, so I'm roughing it up too. I want to get back in the purple and red just a little bit down in here. This has been painted. It doesn't look like it, but it's snow, so it's white. Now, get your detail on your fence with your smaller brush like this, your nylon, and you want to get some specific stuff on these fence posts. They're closer to you, and they do connect. Very small little lines. They connect here. This looks like this might be the door to the property right here where the fence is. Now I'm going to get some white and lay some white on it like it had, there's some snow on these fence posts a little bit right here, right here. Turning my brush sideways, getting into a puddle of fresh white. This little piece right here's got some crud on it, so I'm gonna bring him up. It makes it a kind of, you know, interesting. There we go. Here's the little opening to this fence. All right. Now what I want to do is add a few more, I want to add some more trees back in the back, and you're going to have to use a specific brush like this one. And you want to get, there's a tree right here next to the house. Now y'all, this is hard. I don't want you, these little trees, and the hard part about them is making sure that, you know, your hand is steady, because you've already got your background on. You don't want to change your background. But you can, if you mess up, you can go back over it, but it isn't easy to do that. All right, I'm gonna shut up and make this line straight. Hang on. Twist your brush just a little bit so it's not perfect. And then I'm doing a super, super fine lines up through here. You could even probably use a fan brush for this, but you want some specific branches up in here. Sort of matches this one. Now he's a little crooked, so I'm gonna bring it down just a little bit. There we go. This goes on top of that roof like this, so that house is behind this. Twisting my brush as I bring these up, okay? There's a few more specific trees that are wintry and gone almost. Over here, in this shrubbery, there are some also. Through here, I'm twisting as I go up like this, and that helps it look not so perfect. All right, there is a really good tree right here. Okay, and you don't want to get it too high. It goes like this, and then it kind of turns a little bit, which makes it a little more interesting. There's more here. There's some in front of that house, and that takes that house back further because the shrubs are all in front of it like this. Kind of wish I'd have gone a little more orange now. Oh well, lesson learned. I get chicken with red because it's so hard to take back. Once it's on there, it's there. Okay. Next time I'll remember. It's not bad though. It's not bad. It's soft looking. There is a big tree here. Now I want to get a little thicker here, right here in front of this, and it kind of goes out like this. It's stumpy. But it's got quite a few more branches, so I am going to get a cruddy brush. This is a different one. It's smaller. And I'm going to fuzz in some of these branches like this. There we go. Just a few of them, because there's quite a few on this little stumpy tree. Now I'm going to do it to the side. I don't want them to be, and I'll go back on top with some specifics. But there's quite a few branches in this one. And it goes in front of this barn, so I want to make sure it's in front. All right. Now, once I've got that background in, I'll get some specific branches in here like this. Let's make them thinner. Be careful with your linseed oil because it will drip. If you get too much on there, it will drip. All right. But that is actually what's in your oil paint, is linseed oil. This is a good workout for your abs too, because you're painting, then you sit back like this and look at it, and then you come back up. You'll be sore. Good ab workout. Here we go. Branches, 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 branches. And I don't know if you all have noticed, but once the trees are gone, you can see where the squirrels have made all their little houses, you know, and they look cool. They're big. All right, here. I don't see any squirrels in these trees, but you want to get some laying on the ground branches here, and that sort of helps. There we go, helps your horizon. You don't see any start-stop here. I want to get that door back in there just a little darker. And here's your chimney. Let's get it on. Now, this is the fun part, but it's scary. You have to get, I want to get a little bit of that smoke on there. I don't know, you got to get just the right brush for that. So if I mess up, sorry. You have to get just the right brush because this is just a little bit of smoke, not much. All right, let me play with it for a minute. Here we go. Let's see if I can get this right. Very, very lightly, and then it kind of goes away. This makes it look like somebody's probably living there. All right, I think that's pretty good. Now I'm going to define that roof again with that, here it is, with that little skinny brush and that chimney. So I'm going to put my finger down, get that chimney on there, make it a little bit, there we go. And then I want to define that roof just a little more in that door. And there's some branches here that come up and around. That. Let's get some more over here, on top here. Get some more in front of this tree. Get that tree trunk down here. And I think there might be another house back in there, but I really think this is plenty. In this cruddy mess, we don't know what it is, but, and I want to get another branch maybe up in here, very light, near regular, over here too. A few more on this one. I'm just putting my smallest brush and twisting it as I go up, using leftover paint, whatever's just kind of left over on my brush. All right, now let's go to, one more time, let's go to Cruddy Brush just a little more and get some of this black down here a little darker, a little more irregular. There we go. You want it a little more, see how I've got big clumps now here and there? That's what you want. You don't want it to look like you got a brush and just went, you want to have a little irregularity and some interest to this. I'm going to do a little bit more blue. Y'all cross your fingers. And red down here just a little bit. Let me get a smoother brush. Just a little more down here. And you don't want it super smooth. This is supposed to look irregular and impressionistic. There we go. But can you see how that red is reflected from the horizon? Might be a little much. All right, let's see. A little bit, a little bit. Now I'm going to smooth that out just a little bit with a dry brush. All the way down. All right, let's get another dry brush here. Doesn't have paint on it, and just kind of smooth some of this out. I hope my show helps you sleep at night. A lot of people say, oh, I watch you to go to bed. It's probably my voice, but I hope it helps some of you all sleep. And I want to encourage you to try to paint. It's a wonderful therapy in the wintertime. It really is. Instead of working a puzzle, go get you a little small kit. And you know, do it by yourself. No, you know, you're your own worst critic, but it's really good therapy. And I'm gonna get some blue down here. I tell you, if I wad up in front of my easel, it just seems like time goes away. I enjoy it so much. I'm so thankful I get to do it. I love it. Just trying to ground some of this rough shrubbery, whatever this is. So it's not floating. Get some crud around here. Now, once again, I'm gonna get my cruddy brush, and I'm just gonna scruff it. Oh, I've got too much paint on that. Get all that off. Very lightly. I mean, I'm barely touching it. Okay. I'll put some more white right in this area. Get my white brush. There we go. You know, I think there might be a little tree right there. I may do one more tiny tree and we'll be done. Get that little teeny weeny brush. And there's one little tiny leftover something right here. Don't know what it is. Okay. I think we're done. Yeah, I think it looks, you know. And I'll tell you about Impressionism too. You can overpaint if you're not careful. So if you're happy with it, which watch me still work, quit. Got one little area I'd like to work on right here. But if you do walk away and go wash your hands, cook dinner, come back and see something, you know, work on it then. You'll see things from this. Is there any more trees? I'm gonna bring a couple up here. Soften that just a little bit. All right. Okay, ta-da. I think that's pretty much, let me cover this up. Yeah, that's it. Thank you all very much. Stay creative.